So do you think like this break was very, very much needed, like in it kind of centering you in a way that you are able to kind of take a load off and ease back into it, when the time is
Yeah.
right? Good.
Yeah, I think it was a weird, fucked up gift from the universe,
Yeah,
to
that's what I've been saying.
yeah, like
Yeah.
to have a reset. Like, I've been like making breakfast every day and like making all my fucking meals because I'm inside
hmm
this house.
hmm
And
hmm
so like that's something that like I have not done that stuff
And
like
so long.
in so long, like feeding myself real food, taking time to exercise as long as I need
Right,
to,
right, right.
resting, like just chilling. And so that in that way, I've been trying to treat it as like that reset that I asked for and needed. So I do
hmm
think it's a weird gift from the universe.
Yo, praise God.
Praise, praise, praise him.
um, um, let's talk about. I want to get a little. Let's get a little messy. Um,
Okay.
what are some things and some people that you cannot live without, and what are some bitches that you have to live without? Who are some bitches that you have to live without?
Oh, who are they? Oh,
Yes,
oh
tell
shit.
me about
Okay,
it.
well let me think about the first part first. Okay, so with the first part of the question is some things, or is there like qualities in people that I can't live without?
Yeah, yeah, like not you don't got to tell me no names unless you want
Okay,
to.
I'm gonna think. So I guess when it comes to me and friends and people and things that I can't live without, like
Mhm.
I truly try to run with like a ride or die crowd.
Me
Like,
too, bitch.
and
Yeah.
I don't. I know a lot of people, but I don't feel like I have a lot of friends, and
Right.
that's on purpose
Right. Right.
because
Right.
like if you're not bailing me out, if I can't come to your house and be saved from the coronavirus, if you
Yes.
know, if you're not coming to pick me up from jail the day I'm out, like we we're not ride or die.
This
And
is
so
so refreshing to hear that because
really,
that's exactly how I am. And just pausing real quick, like that's so interesting because a lot of people, people are like, I'm very dependent on myself, and I understand that. But I am somebody who I'm a needy bitch. Like I need a ride or die bitch and a ride or die pack. I want my circle to be
yeah.
we all for each other. So I feel that.
Okay, good. So I am very much that way. And on the
Okay.
flip side of that, I've noticed in my life, the higher you become in status or whatever, people are like this, right? And
Right,
so
right,
that's
right.
something else that I'm like, no, bitch, I don't deal with fake
Mm-hmm.
people. I
Right,
don't like,
right,
I want to know your feelings, good, bad, or ugly, up front.
right,
So
right,
that's
right,
something
right.
I don't fuck with. Also, if I can't trust your ass, don't even come near me. Okay.
You're right. You're right.
And I really mean that. So I think it's like two sides of that same coin. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? The qualities I love in these people and the qualities that I cannot are,
Right,
one on the same coin. Yeah.
right, right. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow.
I'll think of some
Um,
names for you. I'll try.
yeah,
I'll
you just
think.
text them to me. I know
Okay.
to stay away from.
Yeah.
What are some let's see. What does validation mean to you?
What
The
does it
word when
mean
you
to
think
me?
of yeah, when you think of the word validation, like is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Like what does that mean for you?
I guess like when I think of validation, I think of like self-validation. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I think like at least in my experience, like sometimes it takes like that Norm Lewis thing that I talked to you about. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it takes me being in something for so long to then be like, oh, I just
Yeah.
validated myself. Like, you
Right,
know what I mean?
right, right, right,
And so for me, it's like having, the universe will give me these moments of like, oh, now there you go. Now you can see this clearly.
right.
It's hard when you're in it, right? It's hard to feel like you sometimes feel validated. And so for me, it's always self-validation of like, all right, you're doing this, it's good or whatever, as opposed to like the outside validation. Because
Right,
sometimes it's hard for me to hear that.
right, right, right,
So
right.
I guess like that's what I'd say for that question.
Okay, okay. Tell me, what is your biggest fear? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen to you?
Ooh, my biggest fear? I don't know. Like
And it can be like outlandish.
my biggest fear. Oh shit. I don't know. Like
You
I
can
mean,
take
I
some
tell
time
you,
if you need to.
no. I'll tell you what. Like okay, no shade to anyone that stayed in New York because that's their home and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But like I did have a big fear of being trapped
And
in New
yeah,
York.
yes, yes, yes.
And like, because I like really like was thinking about it when this was all popping up, and I'm like, this is an island. I don't have a car. If the
Exactly.
subways, I was going all through
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And I do think that's like a big fear of like,
Right,
okay, if shit's really gonna go down, because who knows? I was like, I want to be out of here
right,
and in space where I can like find a car or like,
right,
bike somewhere. Fuck.
right, right, right.
And so I would say that was a big fear of mine. Like most recently was like that fear of feeling trapped,
Feeling stuck.
of
That's
trapped.
exactly why
Yeah,
I got my ass out. I was like, I gotta dip, buddy.
yeah.
Wow.
Wait, now I want to know your answer to that question because that's very interesting.
Okay, so mine is goofy because like I don't. I'm okay because I'm not afraid of these bitches because these bitches can't fight. So
Oh,
you know. I'm gonna no. This is my biggest fear. If you want to know, okay. So I have a deathly fear of animatronics. So but I love them. Like it's so crazy. So my biggest fear would either be there's two rides. There was the Jaws ride at Universal Studios, and there is a ride in Disney World Magic Kingdom called Expedition Everest. And if I were to
okay.
ever get stuck like on a ride, like with some animatronics or some shit, or animatronic like fell on me or some shit malfunction, I would be fucked up. When I was a child, we went on this Jaws ride, and it was like the most terrifying thing in the world. But I'm so interested. Like, if I didn't do theater, I would be a Disney Imagineer. Like, I would be creating these rides at Disney World and directing the
Word.
storylines and stuff. So yeah, I know that's very outlandish, but that's me. I'm trying to think of like any like, my fear used to be like, I think like I think a big fear of mine to a more serious one is like if me to never find like love,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
I think that especially like me being like transmb, like everything, like it's like, and I'm starting to go on a journey right now with myself of like what it means for me to be a trans woman. Like a trans woman does not mean the same thing for everybody, and I'm like, oh, am I too passable or this and that, but that doesn't matter. Like what it's who I am, and it's how I
Right.
identify, and what a woman is for me, is much different than the other girls, and that's okay. And that's what I'm going through right now. So I think my another bigger fear of mine is like now finding love. Oh, me a man, bitch. Like yeah. I'm like, I got all this to offer, all this ass, and I can't get a man.
That's a real one. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's a universal one.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I think that's a universal one. There's this very interesting book. If you got time to read, which I know you bet you got
Well, nothing
time.
but.
It's called All About Love.
Okay,
And of course I'm blanking on the author. She's so famous, black woman,
I'll
but
look up.
she talks about how we're a culture that always talks about love, but nobody can define it. And
Exactly.
and she goes through this journey of men and politics and everything and talking about love, and it's very 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 interesting.
Okay.
It's a heady read, but it's definitely changed the way I look at all of it. So
Yes.
something to think of. And also I just thought of a real ass fear. I don't know why I didn't think of this before,
Yeah.
but birds,
I hate
pigeons.
the bitches
I
too.
hate them bitches.
Yes.
I hate them, and I'll tell you what. I don't. The flutter of the
Yes,
wing,
of
honey,
the wave. It just look.
and I know the moment because, honey, I was at this place in my hometown called Parakeet Landing. Okay,
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
basically where they would put all these people in a room with these little cups of food,
Mm.
and they had these garage doors. And I remember being so young with my mom there, and they go 2, 3, 2, 1. These garage doors open, and these birds,
Oh my gosh.
and they are landing on you. They are fluttering next to your ears, and I fucking lost it. Like I
See.
lost it. And ever since that bullshit, I have not fucked with birds. Like even if there's a group of pigeons on one side of the street, I will cross the street and just walk on that side
Me,
because I don't deal
me.
with the flutter and the this. No,
I'm
we're not
like,
doing
y'all
it.
can fucking keep it. Y'all can keep it. Well, that's interesting. See, that was it. That was a conversation. Okay, so tell me something. Tell me something, Noah. What is your ick factor? Like when I see Noah Ricketts, what brings me to the yard about you, and that can be in a casting office, in the real world, and you're a looker,
Oh,
so
thanks.
outside of that, you're like, what is your gig? What's your gimmick?
I mean, I think my it factor is that I'm always real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure everyone really expects that out of me, but
Yeah.
I am always like I will tell you how I feel about things,
Right.
good, bad, or different. Like
Right.
you'll just see it. And I've always been that way. Like
Right.
I can't hide it. I won't try to hide it. And
Yeah.
I just have accepted that. So maybe that's an it factor of just
Okay.
being like, I'm real. Like I'm just gonna
Yes.
tell you this is working for me, this is not working for me.
Right.
And so I guess that's one of the it factors. What do you
Okay.
think? Shit, I don't know.
I mean, that's very honest. Like when I first met you, the conversation we had was very impactful. Like you are somebody that like I can never forget, and I like very especially with my heart. Like that what you told me that night about
Oh,
chasing things and not chasing things, letting the shit find you. I think that's beautiful, and I think to be able to be someone that can see people for who they are. When I first moved to the city, it was very hard because I don't think of myself as I'm a star. Like regard, like
right.
I don't like period. Like and not in the cocky sense of the non-humble sense. Like I'm very humble about it, but I know who I am and I know my worth. And my
Yeah.
worth does not amount to a Broadway contract or anything. It amounts to how I validate myself and view myself amongst this world. So when I see people like you and people that have made it, it excites me because I'm like, oh my, like that's my dream. Like that's one of my dreams to be like those people. So when I see people like you, I align myself and the ability for you to invest in me and take time and invest in me and care for that dream of mine and nurture it. I think that is something important that we don't all possess. So I think the
Right.
ability to be human on a real level is paramount. So yeah, so that's
Oh, well,
cool.
that's
That's
good.
cool.
That's good. I know. It's like, sometimes it's hard because in New York or especially LA, people are so wrapped up in their own shit. And it's
Yes.
like, open your fucking eyes and look at these
Yes.
people around you and like take
Exactly.
them in or.
Exactly. I mean, it's
So,
super difficult because it's like it's like how do you navigate and all this? And it's a very interesting time with everybody right now because ain't nobody on Broadway,
right.
ain't nobody doing it.
We're all humbled.
We are right. We all at home. So who are you in the midst of all that? And that's what the show is about. And that's why I want to bring people from all of my communities and use the platform that I have, and the platform that you have. And let's talk about it. Like, what is living for ourselves mean? And how do we live for ourselves enough to pour into others and give others what we have, because at
Right.
the end of the
Right.
day, all we have is each other. And,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I saw you and I was like, let me just talk right quick. Let's just.
Who is this, Miss
And I'm
Sarah?
so happy we shared that moment because, like, I mean, we really I didn't have much knowledge of you before that, and vice
Yeah,
versa, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
Because I
so I
was like, it
mean,
was 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, that's who you are. You know what I mean? Then the fan come out because you're like, oh,
that's so
that's
funny. But I would say yes. I happily accept that it factor, the
thank
real,
you.
the human. I think
Yes.
that's so important, and it's like God in this world of motherfucking Instagram and TikToks and everything else.
Exactly, exactly, and that'll bring me to my next question. But that's something. Let's answer this one question. I think there's two questions. So somebody said, "What is it like performing on the bridge during the show?"
Okay. Oh, you're better at this than me. Okay. What's it like? So, I perform in this bridge. I fall through that bridge. Sorry, spoiler alert. 9 times in a
Okay.
week,
Oh.
and so I've been doing this for 3 years, and so it is like to me now. Oh my God, I don't even think about it. So I don't control any of the levers on this bridge. It is like a free fall through this thing. The only thing
Mm,
that I can control is how I'm hooked on. So I'm
okay.
responsible for myself and like when they have these go lights, and so it's all kind of like a dance
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
So a dance with harnesses, which is super tricky. And
Oh
so
wow.
I get up there and I hook myself on, and I have to be responsible for her too, and hook her on, and this and that. And so it like at first I was like, this is a lot to
Mm,
sing and act on top of this literal like machinery.
mm,
But now, like I've done it so many times, I think I've probably done it close to 800 times, that it feels truly second nature. And now I will tell you, the only thing that is scary that they make me rehearse every once in a while, that has happened once,
mm.
is If there's a misfire, which means like all of the planks that are underneath my feet
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
there's an open hole there, okay? And so
Oh.
if the show wants to continue, I have to free fall through the open hole that's already there. So usually, like, I don't see it. I like fall and then they go, whoop, and then my body goes, right?
Oh
So
my
it looks
god.
like I'm going to something solid.
Yeah.
This goes, the things are there, and there's a giant hole, and I'm looking down, and I have to
Jump this.
dive.
Oh shit.
Now
Oh
that
Lord.
shit is scary. Now I'm like,
I
I don't
gotta
like
come
that.
see it, honey. When all this is over, I gotta come see it. I tried to go one day the day Sierra Renee got back, but my bank account wasn't looking too cute, so I couldn't.
Oh,
But I
okay.
have to
Well,
come see it.
we'll get you in there. I will get you in
Okay,
there, and
okay.
then you'll know
And
exactly what I'm
also,
talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So since you talked about like, talking about like social media, do you I don't know how big like you are on social media, like what do you utilize it for? But does your social media life represent like who you are as a human being, like your real life? Do you show the world just the highlights or do you show the world everything?
I show the world just the highlights, and I'll tell you why. Because I like to look at it for other people and stay
Hmm.
connected to other people.
Hmm.
It's not something that I necessarily actively do because I enjoy doing it.
Hmm. Okay.
And so, I believe it or not, like I have been up for a couple of things now that have depended on my followers and following
Are
and
you
presence.
serious?
Two shows, which is super funny. And so like I'm not I I'm not gonna play the million followers game
Right.
because like one, that's a full-time job.
Right.
And two, I'm just gonna get something that I have talent for, that's right for me, and that's gonna be it. Right. I'm not like you want a social media star, you just go hire one,
Right. Right.
and I'm never gonna be that. So I'm just like, I'm gonna keep it cute, whatever.
Right.
But I did make a promise to like, representatives, and to the honestly people at the stage door because they used to yell at me, believe it or not. You never post, like you never put anything on your story. This woman found me on the train and was like, I love you, blah blah. She's like, but why do you never post anything?
Oh my
So
god.
I know. So I was like, all right, I will play this game a little,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna like so I have my photo shoots and I'll just whatever when
Right.
I
Right.
remember if
Yeah.
I'm out
Yeah.
I'm like okay, take a picture. But that's how I kind of use it, just because it is the world where like I will go in for a job and they'll be like, and what's your Instagram handle? And I'm like, oh fuck, I better have something to show,
Yeah. Oh my
and that
gosh.
and that I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. And
Right.
like actually three times though, there was a job on Comedy Central and they asked for Instagram handles between me and someone else. He had more followers than that was it. So
That's wild.
it
Mm.
is wild. So you have to play it a little bit, but I try
Yeah.
not to get wrapped up in that shit. And so for now, you are seeing the highlights. Maybe if I get a little more into it, you'll see the
Right.
real my
Right.
hair all mess,
Right. Right. Right.
my
Right.
hair a mess. But yeah, for right now, the highlights are what I'm posting.
Wow. 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 I think that I think social media for me, because my personality is so like here, like around the world. I think that, and also social media is a place that I'm like learning, like for someone like me, like I need to have that access for people to see me and see who I really am and things like that, because for the most part, it's literally just like, oh, this fun person. But I'm like, you need to see the diverseness of Sis and who I can be. So I think for
Right.
me, it's like all around. But I'm also learning that social media for me is like my jump off, because I'm like, I'm just, it's just me, and it's
Yeah.
hard for me to fit in a bubble and fit in certain places. So I'm like, I just got to do it myself.
Yeah.
But, um, but
And I
okay, like,
love that for you. I
thank you.
love that because like I love when people like use it to be themselves and make it their
Right,
own little platform and
right,
don't
right,
follow the guidelines of that. Like
right,
I really do. And that's
right.
why I follow people.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
thank you.
cool, cool. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So wrapping up, tell me something. Like, tell me at the end of the day, when you sit down, whether it be like now or in the future, in the near future, when you say like, "Oh, I have made it," what will that mean for you to make it?
hmm.
And that can be anything. Like, what will that piece come over you? Like, oh, I've done it.
I think for me, if I look at my life and if I think I have made it, it will be a balanced work to life schedule,
Mm-hmm.
like where I will have some time to be working like at the level I want to work at,
Mm-hmm.
but also have some time for life.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have love in my life. I will have a kid,
Mm,
and I will live in a place that I appreciate and have put work and love into, and that is beautiful because,
mm,
you know, I work toward that. And so if I find that moment where I'm like, you know, sitting on the dock, drinking
right,
wine with my
right,
husband, and there's
right.
like my kids running around, and, you know, we have a Sunday off, and then Monday I'm back filming something, that
Yeah.
would be a moment where I'm like, that's the life that I see, and I feel like I have made
Oh, well, I'm gonna pray for you, and you go get that. We're gonna manifest
it.
that for you, honey.
That's
Oh,
right.
that was
That
so
is so right.
beautiful. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Noah, for
Oh my
doing
God.
this.
Thank
I
you,
want to
sis.
talk for hours. You gotta text me. We gotta talk. We gotta talk.
We do have to
But
talk. I'm
yes,
gonna write
but
down those names too.
yes, but right, because bitch need to know. But thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you everyone for coming in today. My best friend Gloria wants you to say shout her out. If you could just say hello, Gloria.
Hey, Gloria, how you doing?
Okay. But yes, but thank you. And we will chit chat. And once again, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course. Thank you. Enjoy your resets.
I will, honey. I am getting it together. So
That's
thank you.
right. Me
But
too.
have a good day. Enjoy the mountains.
Thank you. I will. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today and joining me on Living for Sis. Yes, that's the name of the show. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow on the show, I believe I have Jose Luis Lopez Jr. I'm so excited for that. So come back tomorrow. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Love you. Bye.